Your security policies can be of multiple type, right? They may be sometimes driven from regulations. Sorry. This is the same page we were talking about. Okay, anyways, so sometimes I think there was separate slide which I brought in, right? Type of security policies, right? So normally there are policies, sometimes they are driven from regulations, right? For example, your company is dealing with credit card information. You need to adhere to something.
Yes.
You need to get compliant with PCI DSS.
Yes.
So PCI DSS, is that a regulatory requirement or that is an industry requirement?
It's an industry requirement.
It's an industry requirement, right? It's not a regulatory requirement. But oftentimes these industry requirements are must to be followed. If you don't follow it, people will throw you out. They will not let you use credit cards. Then how that will impact your business, right? So you need to also think about it. There may be HIPAA. For example, your company is into some insurance sector, and you are collecting some documentation from the end user, and it talks about end user health, their illness, their health status, their SSN number, their insurance number, all that health privacy related data, correct? You need to get adhered to HIPAA. PHI, personal health information, is involved. You need to get adhered to HIPAA. Sometimes you are dealing with GDPR, like you are dealing with European Union, right? You must adhere to GDPR. So sometimes these policies are driven from regulatory and industry requirement, or you can say their requirement. Sometimes those policies can also be advisory, but that will be specifically mentioned. So when we say advisory, it is not mandatory. But guys, please understand this difference. Don't get confused. Unless this is specifically mentioned, policies are mandatory. Right? So that's advisory. And in some cases, it can also be just informational. Just making you aware of something. Like as good as how you process your claims. And then it talks about ethics, this policy, that policy. So there will be multiple internal references in any policy that will happen. Make sense? Now, the very next thing from policies, because policy we know it's a very high level document. We are not going to be very specific. We are not going to say a particular tool or a particular algorithm or a particular technology. That will not be specified in the policy. But then to follow that policy, we have to follow certain things, right? We have to make sure that this software is there, and then this follow this configuration, and that is how we are going to achieve it. For example, your policy may say that all people, all administrators who access the servers should have multi-factor authentication enabled. Or it may just say may have higher security. That's all. And then your standard will go and say all people who are accessing the remotely any server, they need to go to a jump server or to a VDI, and then must have the access controlled by multi-factor authentication. And once from there, they can access this, right? Or there may be specific policies for privileged access control, right? So it talks about in granular. When you say all end user laptop should be encrypted, that is what your policy say. Now encrypted is okay, But there are so many encryption. Which one I follow? That will be coming out from your standard, right? So standard may talk about AES 256, or it may say password standard is minimum 10 characters, right? Or it may say combination of alphabet, capitals, numbers, right? And special characters. That is what we will say. You may also have a policy which say people cannot use last 10 passwords. That means history. You can't use last 10 passwords. It can also say anybody who is trying something with 3 wrong attempts must be disabled. So this is your password standard for your company. Make sense? So you will likewise, you will have a standard for different areas. Like for access, you will have separate standard. For encryption, you have separate standards. For endpoints, you may have separate standards. For servers, you may have separate standards. So many standards you may have. Servers, VDIs, you may have different standards for them, right? Now, tell me, is these standards mandatory or optional?
Standards are mandatory.
Mandatory.
So standards are always mandatory. Correct? Now that we have standards defined for every area, correct? For a specific set of components, for example, your endpoints. Your endpoint should have a image, operating system image, maybe Windows 10. Have you seen Windows 10 the same for every company? Yes. Windows 10 is the same. But over to that, there may be different systems or softwares which are installed. Maybe one company use Symantec, another company may use ClamAV, some other antivirus. So how you make sure, if you have 1,000 endpoints, how you make sure that all the images on all these 1,000 systems is in consistent format? They all have the same configuration. How you are going to ensure it?
By defining the standards.
By defining standards. And when you define standards, those documentation will give rise to baseline. You will define baseline. So when we say baseline, there will be a separate baseline for Windows 10 machine. And in Windows 10, you will make a golden image maybe. And then deploy it on all these 1,000 machines so that one of the systems should not lack anything. Right? Nowadays, what people started doing it, because this is a lot of overhead on the IT. Lot of people joining during COVID, right? Lot of overhead on business and IT people, because they also don't want to go to office because of COVID. But then they have to go. There is no other option. So what people came out with is, there is a new feature which has come in Azure called as Autopilot. You may be knowing it. So what happens is, I got hired by the company, right? I got an offer letter. My joining letter date is this. I undergone a onboarding training, and after that, what will happen is there will be a like HP as one of the vendor. They will directly ship me the asset instead of this asset going to company reimaging everything and sending it back to the employee. Right? Everything is cloud based. That golden image is now cloud based. You just need to follow some adherence, give a particular username, password, you give it, leave your system connected with internet, everything will be loaded as per the company standard. So a lot of IT overhead has been reduced, right? So idea here is to tell you, security standards are mandatory. And then because of this security standard, this give rise to something called as baseline, which is our next topic, right? So baseline is a set of configurations. It is not just configuration. We need to add here set of uniform configuration approved by management. Approved by management or company, like whatever you want to put. That is what your baseline. Now your baseline may be different for Windows 10. It may be different for maybe if you are using Mac machine. If you are using a firewall, your baseline may be different. Maybe you are using Palo Alto firewall, then the baseline may be different. For a particular server, it may be different. Every equipment may have a different baseline. Tedious task, right? But then you have to maintain it. Sometimes what we do, I prepared something, fine-tune this, firewall, all configuration done, everything done. Then I take a snapshot and I start saying it as my baseline. Now, as and when I need this baseline, I just need to deploy on the same model. I need to just deploy. That can be my baseline. But question here is, are standard mandatory to be documented?
Yes.
Obviously. We need to or must have the standards documented. But what about baseline? Do we need to have this documented?
Yes.
Yes, we need to have this. Or are baseline mandatory?
Yes, sir. These are mandatory.
Again, yes.
Yes.
And are they documented? Yes. This is where you will find a lot of gaps in companies. Nobody will have it, but this is required. Same way, for example, you have a solution which works on AWS. You have an application which works on AWS. For example, you are making a payment as a service and giving a service to an external bank. Right? Now, there will be an architecture because you may use multiple software into this. There may be some integrations also involved. There may be some interconnected, maybe a database may be here, maybe something you expose to internet, put up in DMZ. All those things will happen. Right? Don't you think you need a high-level diagram? Architecture diagram? Now, this architecture diagram becomes your baseline. As and when there is a change, for example, something changed here. You were using Trend Micro to monitor the platform for antivirus and all. Now there is a change. Now your baseline also need to be changed. So how frequently? At least once in a year or as and when there is a change. Make sense? So this is more technical. Baseline is more technical. You need to have those configurations. Now, question is, okay, I'm a security professional hired by Cybernos. This is the first time, man, this bacha is making all these things. How do I go and define from where I can take some guidance? Don't you think that's the problem statement?
Yes, sir.
Right? Let's see some benchmarking. Are you able to see my screen?
Yep.
Are you able to see my browser now?
Yes.
Okay. Let's say baseline security baseline configuration. Okay. What does Google give us? There's some very good sites. That's what I want to show you. Right? This one I want to commit by itself. I forget the name. Yeah. Go to this site. CIS benchmark. Excellent resource for any security professional, right? You will see a lot of benchmark here. Even CIS top 20 is one of the framework. Just go and search here, right? Right, just like search for Windows 10. I think recently their website got changed. But then there is a lot of things. It can give you full guidance, complete guidance. From here, this can help you a lot when you are into making those baselines. Are you able to see here, guys? Debian Linux, Ubuntu Linux, CentOS Linux, Red Hat, SUSE, Windows Server. All these are security benchmarks. You can take a lot of guidance from here. You can take their subscription and they will give you a lot of guidance when preparing these kind of baselines, right? But baseline for any company is a must. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So that's what. Now, not everything can be made at mandatory. Maybe few things are optional, and then you want a basic behavior change in your employees. How to do it? The thing is, the tool for this is security guidelines. So these security guidelines may come to you in form of do and don'ts. Right? Like clean desk policy. You may keep hearing it, right? You may get emails from your company regularly for this because people don't focus on guidelines. So these need to be given to you more frequently, right? People may also ask you about your disaster recovery plan and all that, right? So you will get emails about these and guidelines on these. Then what else? Passwords. Guidelines on passwords. Because you make 100 policies, but people are the weakest chain in the security, right? So they need to be constantly reminded of things. So these guidelines are not mandatory. But not mandatory does not mean that you are not going to follow. You should follow. Right? Just like ITIL. What is ITIL? Is a set of best practices you should follow, guidelines. Like Amara Gita. They keep on saying, कर्म करते जाओ फल की इच्छा मत करो, right? Keep working, don't get worried about the end result. That is what Gita says. So, but how many people follow it? Rarely. But that is how, that's a guideline. Okay. Then security procedures. Now, what for you need a security procedure, and what is the difference between a policy, standard, and a procedure? So a procedure is basically a detailed, step-by-step, a detailed step-by-step process of completing an activity. Sorry, my handwriting is real bad. This is what is a procedure. But question is, why? Why I need to spend time and effort into this? Why you need a procedure? We sometimes call it as SOP, standard operating procedure. Because, for example, in your team, there are 4 people, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and this guy keep doing a work maybe for last 3 years. He's an expert, but some fine day he's sick. Now the same work need to be done by this guy. He don't know. Is company impacted?
Yes.
Operations
Yes.
are impacted, right? So it is always better that we have these things documented as always. So even a other person in the team member can help it. There is always a clarity, there is a consistent way of doing it, there is less dependency, it is good for disaster recovery and all that. So all these good benefits keep coming. This also supports, there is a very good security principle called as job rotation. Every 6 month company go and rotate the employees, like working on something. Now you do it, you will do something else. Why? Idea is to make sure if some person is doing something in a wrong way, he's caught. If he is doing some kind of fraud, he have that deterrence that after some time I'm going to get changed. So he is not able to settle down and do some kind of fraud. And third thing is resiliency. It brings in a lot of resiliency in the process, right? So that is where your security procedures are very, very important. Are procedures must to be followed? Answer is yes. But these are detailed explanation, maybe with the screenshot, step-by-step guidelines to do some work. So that is procedure. This is how this looks like. If you tie it up everything together, this is what it will look like. So policies, right? Policies always answer what? What is this? What need to be done? And why it need to be done? It will say only two things. It will never talk about how. Right? Now, when it comes to standard will say how much security we need to follow. I can go ahead and make my security even tighter. I can leave it little bit loose, or I can even lose it beyond, right? For example, for passwords, right? I can have a password of 8 character, I can have 10 character, I can ask also for 12 characters. I can have complexity, less complexity, more complexity, highest complexity. Now, how much your company feel it is good, so that people are not frustrated. If you increase security, if you make your password policy so tight, people will get frustrated. What they will do, they will keep on writing their password somewhere. And once they keep writing their password, somebody can see it. So there has to be a reasonable thought process when we are defining these standards. We have to meet comfort versus security here. So based on that, you will define standards in your company. And then how you do it, when you do it, and who does it, it all is defined by your procedures. And finally, guidelines, because everything cannot be enforced or something. So it will just tell, it will only suggest, right? What, how, when, who. Does that make sense?